schedule to graduate as we're on. We want you to know you better get on our schedule. We're not getting on yours. Okay, he said June 51, and that's it. And it's okay. So I got out June 51, and I had to carry 2 18 semesters and 19-hour semesters in one summer school. But I made it, and I made the dean's list the last 2 years. But what he said to me, he said, son, he said, a fool with a plan would be a genius with no plan. And your mother and I are concerned that we have a fool with no plan. Okay, Dad, I get it. I got it. But we've had no plan here. We now must have a plan. We must have a plan. And it's coming up very fast because we want this to fit into a schedule where we might have an energy plan voted on before Memorial Day. And maybe that's just optimistic jobless talking. And I am optimistic. You have to be if you're a jobless because you also need dry hole. You can't get your dollar down. You got to always think the things well and do good. So you got to stay up. Well, I'm up most all the time. But now, solution to the problem. You've heard the problem. We're importing all this oil, and it's going to, all it's going to happen if we don't do anything. It's going to go up, and the cost is going to go up with it. So, I know, those are facts. Those are facts. Now, solutions to it. Our resources, when we look at them, sure, we've got some oil, not much, and we've got some oil. We're a marginal producer in the overall scheme of things. An average oil well in the United States is 5 barrels a day. And an average oil well in Saudi Arabia is 5,000 barrels a day. So we're just on the edge. We do a good job here in this country, but we really don't have much oil. So we've got some oil, we've got coal, we've got natural gas, we've got hydro, we've got biofuels, we've got geothermal, we've got wind, we've got solar, we've got nuclear. I think I got most of it. Okay, when you look at power generation, 50% of it goes to coal, 20% to nuclear, 22% to natural gas, and the remaining sliver is hydro and miscellaneous. Okay, natural gas is the natural fuel to go to transportation. There isn't anything in the list. You've already exhausted pretty well biofuels, and that's about, they'll cover 10% of your gasoline requirements annually. They moved up that mix, which I think is a good idea, to 15% on the fleet. Keep using American for transportation. I mean, the Wall Street Journal wrote an op-ed about my Pickens plan. They said he's trying to mess up world trade. That this is not the way the free market works. Free market, if you think OPEC's free market, pal, you're barking up the wrong tree, and I'm not kidding. I mean, that's no free market there. It doesn't have anything to do with free market. But you know, when I think about it, and one of the Saudis said this to me, said, how would you manage your asset if it's a finite asset and it's really the only asset you have? How would you manage it? And I said, I'm not so sure I wouldn't manage it like you're doing. I mean, what do they owe us? You start thinking that they owe us something, that's another place you kid yourself. They don't owe us anything, and they're not going to give us anything. And for Vice President Cheney to go to cities to twist their arm to get more oil, I thought, well, that's a wasted trip. I mean, you can take care of that with a telephone call. But I'm sure there are other things to talk about. But the thing about it is they're not going to do that. And we need to get on our own resources. Sit on our own bottom is what we need to do. And there's a way to do it. So what you do is you use your resources, the wind and the solar. The greenies want it, the Democrats love it, and it's good. It's good. Now, you don't want to turn it over to the greenies, or what'll happen is they'll want to shut down every coal plant and power generation and our utility bills will go through the ceiling. And so that'll then be a big problem. So you gotta be realistic and deal with it. I've talked to the transition team. They called on me. Obama called on me in September of '08 for a meeting, just the two of us. And McCain in the same month did too when they were in the campaign. And we talked about energy. Kind of a couple of interesting things came out of that. With McCain, I came to the conclusion after that meeting well, maybe it took a few weeks more, that John McCain and Boone Pickens are too old to be president of the United States. McCain was convinced that nuclear was the way to go. I said, I'm for nuclear. He said, I don't think you are. And I said, I promise you I am. I'm for nuclear. I'm for anything American. But nuclear does not move an 18-wheeler. Only one fuel in my list there that's going to move an 18-wheeler is natural gas. It's cleaner, it's cheaper than diesel, it's abundant, and it's ours. Why don't we use it? We're going to. We're going to use it. That's going to be part of the solution. And he said, when I went through it, I said, we don't have anything else, Senator, but natural gas. He said, you're trying to make me pick a winner. I said, no, you missed my point. There's only one that's already been picked. It's not a multiple choice question. We need to embrace it and explain it to the American people that this is our resource and this is what we're going to do. Okay, go to the Obama phase. Obama had not said at that point in September, it was in the first time I heard him say it, was in his speech at the time of his nomination. He said that in 10 years we will not be importing any oil from the Mideast. Now he said that 4 times since that I've heard him say it. He means it. If he's saying that, he has to have a plan. He has to have a plan. Okay, go backward now to 1970. The first president I can remember that talked about energy was Richard Nixon. And he said in 1970, we're importing 24% of our oil from foreign countries. By the end of this decade, the 70s, we will not be importing any oil from a foreign country. One thing, he said, what is it? I said, well, you say that in 10 years that you're going to have 1 million plug-in hybrids on the road. 1 million plug-in hybrids in 10 years. And he, you know, when somebody questions that, you'll straighten up and shake her, and you'll kind of assume this picture. Let me tell you something. You know, that's the way he went and said, Mr. Pickens, I can tell you that in 10 years I'm going to have 1 million plug-in hybrids. And I said, okay, look out this window here at this hotel in Reno. And I said, if there are 1 million cars out in the parking lot, it'd look like a hell of a bunch of cars, wouldn't it? He said, yes, it would. And I'm going to have 1 million in 10 years. I said, okay, now, step back, you're President of the United States, and look at the total picture. And he said, that's what? I said, it's 250 million trucks in the United States. And we're burning them out at 13, 14 million a year. And you're going to have 1 million in 10 years, plug-in hybrids. Thought they said, not very many. No, because the magnitude of the problem that faces all of us in this country is so huge, and it's been an absolute mindset of denial is what we practice. I can promise you, this is coming up. And I've talked about this. Every one of those guys that ran for president, as you went through it, by the time you got to 1991 in the Gulf War, you were importing. Yeah, Sweetwater, and